Excuse me. So SAT versus ACT, key differences. SAT offers more time for each question, and each question is actually worth more points. The SAT Math has 11 questions that are free response. ACT is a longer test. ACT is a traditional paper and pencil test. SAT Math is worth 50% of your score. ACT Math is only worth 25. So students who are stronger in math might want to stick with the SAT. ACT offers a science section, which is data analysis questions, and it's a mix of English and math, which is shown in the English and math portions of the SAT. Okay, which test to take? So I would tell students, consider your academic strengths and test-taking preferences. Look at your comfort zone with science reasoning and higher level math. Evaluate how well you handle time pressure. Think about college requirements. Is there a preference for one test over the other? The answer here is no, unless you are going to an international school. And take a practice SAT and a practice AC test before beginning a study plan. So when I talk to students who have not begun test prep yet, I will ask them first if they have a preference between SAT and ACT. If they do not, and they are kind of curious about it, I will just tell them, take a practice test in both because the tests are different. Realistically, when students will take both tests, they will not see much of a difference in their percentile. So a student who ranks in the 90th percentile on SAT will most likely rank near 90th in ACT. Sometimes they might be a little bit lower, sometimes they might be a little bit higher, but you are not going to see drastic differences between those tests. The SAT and ACT, some key differences that you should take in mind is some students prefer paper and pencil. They are not used to taking digital tests. They do not like it, so ACT would be the better option for them. Some students are the opposite. They prefer digital, so SAT would be the better option. One thing that comes into play is what type of test taker are you? Are you a student who can quickly rush through a test and answer questions without worrying about time? Or are you a student that needs to double and triple check everything? If you need to double and triple check, SAT will give you more time per question. Again, overall, you are not going to see very big score differences between the tests, so it really comes down to you. Here in California, most students take the SAT, and one of the reasons is so they can just compare scores with their friends. It's for bragging rights more than anything else. There are regional preferences for the SAT and ACT, but that is not by the college or universities, but by the high schools. For example, SAT is more common here in California and also in the New England area, whereas ACT is more popular in the Midwest. But again, the schools themselves will not have a preference. Okay, if you are planning on taking the PSAT with the goal for the National Merit Scholarship, I would recommend the SAT because studying for the SAT because that is going to be the correlating test.